Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. It's official, and we are in the closing table Facebook group brought to you by My Credit Guy. And I've got Ashley, my right-hand person here at My Credit Guy, sets up all of our referral partners so that you guys have a good idea of what we're going to be trying to do with your clients and communicates with you, all that great stuff. A lot of you know her. And then we have Jenny Redlinger, who runs our processing side of the company. Jenny really kind of has a lot of hats that she wears here at My Credit Guy, mostly in terms of the product and quality, compliance, all that good stuff. But she has also seen over the years just about every situation with a client and how they're feeling throughout the process. And we've had to work through these. And, so I just wanted to bring these folks on, Ashley and Jenny, because they have a couple different perspectives. Ashley from the referral partner side and kind of what you guys are thinking both about these clients and what's being relayed to you. And then Jenny in terms of just about every situation possible. So one thing that I want to start with, kind of start at the front of the process, right, is how a client feels when they're being sent over to us for credit repair. And a lot of our referral partners do a great job, but I will say that before we started working with them, some of those initial handoffs were kind of rough. And then what a lot of people do with their clients in general, it just doesn't serve the client or the referral partner's book of business very well, right? Because they're making these people feel a certain way. And we're in 2021, and it used to be that, if you just did the job and you did it well, you could say, well, it doesn't matter how you feel, I got it done. And that's just not true anymore, right? So much of it has to do with feeling, especially when a client has 1,000 places they could choose to go get their mortgage from. So Ashley, I know that, when we first start working with loan officers, a lot of the times they'll say, here's the deal. If they come in and they're under this, I don't even talk to them. So I'm going to get them over to you, right? So that serves one purpose, right? Like people can get over to us and they got a better shot than nothing. But we can both kind of attest to this. And Jenny's even spent some time in inside sales along the way. What does that client feel like when they went on, they thought that, because let's talk about the psychology of this, the vision, right? The atmosphere that a loan officer is trying to create. You go to my website, which I say should be like, hey, welcome to my home or welcome to my office here. So I go to your website, which I believe I'm welcome at and that you want me at. Then all of a sudden, a credit repair guy is calling me. Like that's the user experience that a lot of people put out to their client. So Ashley, Jenny, how does that go? When we don't have the right handoff, the right expectation set, and the client feeling like somebody really cares about them, what are you guys seeing?
I definitely see that they don't want to engage with us because they're confused as to why we're calling them. Again, like you said, they're expecting to hear from somebody who's about to help them get a house. Like they're expecting to hear that really great news, and instead they're hearing from us. And so they're confused. They don't know why or how or why we got their information. So there's already this barrier up, and it's going to be really, really hard for our team to pass through if it's not set up correctly.
For sure. I mean, imagine this, guys, because this is a fairly decent analogy, okay? Imagine I decide to enter like a bodybuilding competition, right? And I go there and I go to the website and I submit my pictures, and the next contact I get is from a personal trainer. That's what you're doing to them, right? Like they had this in mind that I'm about to at least talk to the person that runs this competition, see where I'm at. Maybe I'm not the most buff guy up there, but surely I could get up there even if I want to kind of embarrass myself. I'm willing to pay more. And then all of a sudden, it's not even you. It's somebody who is going to help them, but the framing has not happened, right? Like you haven't taken the time to say, listen, here's what's going on right now. And so one thing that we're going to give anybody that wants it, and that we'll post here, is our handoff script. And the handoff script basically says, and you're welcome to edit it, change it, make it yours in any way you want. And you can deliver it either verbally or send them a video or send them an email. Send them something though. And what you're going to say is, listen, I see that you were interested in getting a home loan with us. However, you either indicated that credit was low, or when we pulled credit, it was at this. In order to qualify you for a home loan, we're going to need you at least at this. And as of right now, we've kind of exhausted our internal resources and options available to increase credit. What we would like you to do is to just have a free conversation with our trusted resource, My Credit Guy, right? That's all. That's all. If a client's not willing to have a free conversation to game plan their credit, then by all means move on. But if you set the stage like that, that's going to make the client feel a lot better about the process. And our goal, and Jenny can talk to how we do this, but our goal is to make them feel like they're still in process with you, their trusted lender, because we're going to return them to you, their trusted lender. At the end, that's the finish line for us, right? And so we need you to set the stage as their trusted lender, not as somebody that's annoyed that they took up time on your website and that you don't even want to give a call back, right? Now, Jenny, you've definitely dealt with clients before where that client doesn't feel like their lender has them in mind, right? And we do our best to kind of not cover up, but edify our referral partners. We understand that you're working hard on loans that can get done, and we're really trying hard to make sure that these clients have continuity with you. But let's talk about let's talk about the situation where a loan officer doesn't have time to get back to the client, even on a positive review, or even when we're telling them re-pull credit, things are looking good. What does that do to a client, psychologically?
Yeah, so they're super frustrated, and they just don't feel important. And then they want to start shopping around. So it's, really hard when we're trying to, especially to have credit pulled because they've put in the work and they feel like they've done so much. And then to not have that engagement back, it just kind of turns them off, turns them away, and they're instantly Google searching new lenders, and they don't care at that point what they're going to get as long as they get the approval. So then, we're on the back end trying to circle them back, to keep them on the track and with that specific person that brought them over to us.
Yeah. And the thing that we're trying to do, everybody that's watching this, is we're trying to change their psychology while they're working with us. Because let's back up just a little bit, because now we're getting into the finish line. And what we want to tell you is kind of the psychology of the major personas, I guess you would call them, that come into credit repair. Okay. So first you have, I take no accountability for my credit. I wasn't taught this. Credit is bullshit, right? Kind of persona. Those are our toughest to deal with, because ultimately, to be successful in credit repair, the client has to be willing to change the way that they're acting with their finances, or to set funds aside to kind of make good on things, right? So all we can do with a client like that, first of all, we would generally not even enroll them, because they're going to say things like that in our process. But let's talk about that person who maybe they're not extreme, right? They're like, well, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it, right? So the person that doesn't take accountability for it really kind of says they're a victim of circumstance. Somebody should have taught this to them along the way, but since they didn't, it's all scam and bullshit, right? So what do we do with them, Jenny? Is it just purely education? Is it just trying to chip away at them through the why of things and explaining, or where do you see the most traction with clients that are just difficult coming out of the gate like that?
Yeah. So I think the first thing, we try to be relatable, to let them know they're not alone. We get it. We understand. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in. That always doesn't work. So it's little wins that we try to get, do this, just do this small thing. And here's how you can get away with not paying interest on credit cards. Let's say that's a big one. So we really try to give them specifics of just open this credit card, put a tank of gas on it, wait a couple weeks, pay it off. Just do that every 60 days or whatever little bit we can get them to move. Or if it's a small collection, whether or not they agree with it, if it's a $25 copay, we just really continually repeat ourselves the why they need to do this. Are you going to let that $25 medical collection stop you from getting a home loan? So that's the biggest thing is repeat, educate, repeat, educate.
Well, and with the toughest folks, what I have found is that it's not that they don't know anything, it's that they know the wrong things. They've went out and a lot of times found the answers that they want to hear, right? Like, oh, did you know that if a collection has been sold to a third party, that you no longer owe on it per some bullshit law that these scammy companies pull out of nowhere just to enroll people on a network marketing format, right? They tell them what they want to hear. And then the folks coming in, it's like they've latched on to like these few nuggets that they've found from Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says you have to pay everything off and cut it up. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're not doing that either. You got a bunch of charge-offs and collections. Like, so it's like trying to sort out the different horrible information that they've been given throughout, their life to be able to sort through it. But so you have that. You have the guy or the girl that's like, I hate credit. I'm not happy about it. And with that, it's just kind of chipping away with knowledge, with correcting their thought process. They think that they think that cutting up all their credit cards is good. We can say, yeah, we understand that. We can understand where you're going for. However, this is where you get power back. And what I have found with the people in this group is that when you make them feel powerful, that's when you get through to them, right? It's the fact that they're lashing out like this is because they feel like they have no options and they feel dumb, really. And nobody likes feeling dumb. So they're just grasping onto the things that they know, even a lot of times when it's wrong, as a defense mechanism to say, I might not know much, but here's what I know. When I pay my collections off, it's going to jump my scores up. A lot of people think that, and that would be rational. And it's crazy to think that making a positive action like that wouldn't improve your credit. However, here's the deal. It doesn't work like that. Don't shoot the messenger, but and giving them that information so that they can replace the information that's wrong with the information that's right and then feel powerful about it rather than just feeling corrected. Those are tough. Now, let's talk about the psychology of somebody who just feels like they have no control in general, but they're not aggressive, right? They're just like Eeyore. Everything happens to me. I just do what I can, right? The psychology with that is building them up and letting them realize, yes, this is a game that has some confusing rules, but you can win at this game, right? Now, Jenny, talk to me about that. When you can get through to a client who's open to it, right? Who wants the knowledge, but at the same time feels beaten down in this process. What is that client thinking? And then what are you and our team able to do to replace that mindset?
Yeah. So, they feel defeated. They're defeated, they're embarrassed, and they just feel like there's no hope. So it's, again, as a coach, being relatable, saying, listen, I get it. We've all been there. Things happen. And then giving them a direction and a light, because every step of the way, every milestone, and just being excited for them because they're excited, but they're still scared. They're still cautious. So just every step of the way, explaining it, celebrating the little wins. And the more they see that, everything will come to fruition for them. And then they're not so sad and depressed, right? Like they can see it, they get excited, and that hope starts to build back up for them.
That's awesome. Ashley, what do you see in that regard? What either from loan officers or clients that you've encountered, what do you have to say about all that?
Yeah, I think sympathizing with them is really like a huge thing. Just like using like a really calm voice and like reassure them that like you're in the right place, we're here to help. And I think like Jenny said, especially with these clients, celebrating those wins, like you can get excited because the ones that are mad, you don't know how they're going to react, but the ones that are kind of down, like if you're excited and you get them like going, I think that that's a really powerful tool as well. Like I think if I were in that position and I was, kind of bummed about it, if I heard Jenny telling me like, we just got this thing deleted, like, this is amazing, I think that would really start helping build my confidence and then build the confidence in the process too.
Yeah. And in this arena, it's like they're defeated, meaning like, if you think of it like sports, these people are showing up and they're like 0 for 10, right? Like they're embarrassed. The last time they tried to step into the arena was in front of all their family and friends to get a house, and they got their ass kicked, right? And so that's really how they feel. So what we have to do is kind of take them down to the minor leagues, get them some wins, work on their technique, get their mindset right so that they're not a loser in their mindset, that they're a winner, and then return them to the big leagues or the mortgage world, right? As somebody who's gone down, worked on what they needed to worked on, and come out the other side of that. And the cool thing is that we're not just returning better credit scores to our referral partners, we're returning better borrowers, right? Like people that understand it's important to get documents back quickly. Here's why, right? They understand how to win coming out of our process as long as they're paying attention, which is proactivity, self-accountability, budgeting, things like that. Now, let's talk about the psychology of somebody who got through a loan, but it was painful, right? Like they qualified for a home loan, but at a 642, that person still does not feel empowered, right? Like they got the deal done. But I think what a lot of loan officers, a lot of our referral partners miss out on is really slingshotting that deal, right? Like taking the gravity and whipping around that transaction and going straight into being that lender for life by capitalizing on where the psychology of that client is right now. They're happy, right? They're happy they got qualified, but they also are doing the thing where they're going like, oh my God, I made it through and there's still all my pieces. Like, oh my God, like that wasn't that easy. And we're here now. And oh my God, that was great. But holy shit, I almost don't feel like I even belong here, right? And that is what happens with clients that just barely qualify, is that they're sitting in a house, but they don't always feel like they really belong there. They feel like they got something done. So what is perfect right there, and what our loan officers that are really clicking on all cylinders do, is they roll that transaction straight into education and a plan for the future. And what that does for your clients and their psychology is it makes them feel like they belong. It makes them feel like you appreciate them and not like they were a transaction. And it makes sure that they will never shop you because you've put that power into their brain. Jenny, Ashley, do you want to speak to that, what we see of our clients coming out the backside of credit repair, but where their loan officers continue to engage and emphasize the importance of credit to improve themselves long-term?
Yeah, so there's some clients that they don't care how the deal is done. They just want the home loan. And so what's great is that when we get those clients, they've already got a win. And then if we can make a plan for them to improve their credit, empower them, and in 6 to 12 months, send them back to that loan officer to refinance into a much better loan and save them money, they're engaged because they see the benefit, right? Like they see what they're paying in interest, they see what they can save in interest, and that excites them because they started that process already and got a little, they got a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will say, like, loan officers, sometimes maybe they don't even think about it. Like, yeah, they qualified now, but hey, if in 6 months we got them up 40, 50 points, like that's a refi. And so sometimes just reminding them that they qualify now, they could be another transaction in 6 months. They always appreciate that, like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. So it's that continuing of the, client.
Yeah. And anybody that's watching this, trust me, we know what EPOs are, we know what early payoffs are, and we understand that the process would need to take 6 months. And so it'll just be very education based, but we would never be, putting them in a situation where they're trying to refi. Plus you would be in the loop on that and empowering that. So we can really make that cool for them. But, I want to back up a little bit because we kind of explained the psychology of a credit repair client, right? They're coming in, they're defeated, they're frustrated, they're rarely happy. And what we want to do is turn all that around so that they see this is a way that you get your power back. This is a way that when you go in to get finance in the future, you hold your head high. I want to give some words of warning to our referral partners as well, though, that when these things aren't accomplished, your clients, these are clients that you will most likely lose for life if you don't have something in place for them. And the reason is it's embarrassing. Again, the reasons we talked about before, right? You're coming for something, you would think that this person would want to do business with you. You're trying to make a big purchase, and then they just don't hear back from you. And I understand business, guys, and I'm not even saying you have to do this, but I want you to be very cognizant, at least, of what clients are saying when you don't have systems in place to get back to them. The psychology of that client is you're done, right? And so we want to make sure that clients, especially credit challenge clients, but this can also be applied to even regular clients that right now you're not having the time for, when you're getting back to them 2 days later, 3 days later, 4 days later, and you're saying it's because you're so busy right now, they don't give a shit about that. I mean, they want to work with you because you're successful, but they don't care that you're busy doing the job that they're hoping that you do for them, for other people, right? Like, look, trust me, I get what you want to come out of it. You want to say, I'm busy, hear me roar, you're lucky to be doing business with me. And I've been through that as well. And it just doesn't matter. The client doesn't care. That user experience has now been tainted. So, especially with credit clients, just because we can help you with that, we've got to change that user experience, because otherwise what we're doing is doubling down on their psychology. Not only that other people don't care about them, but that you don't care about them. And that can't happen because we have the systems in place to help you with it. And once we change that user mentality, once we change that psychology of the credit repair client into the empowered comeback borrower, they become the loudest advocate for you and for your business in their communities. It's exactly what you want. It's somebody that goes out in the community and says, you know what? Other people couldn't get the job done. This person, this lady did what somebody else couldn't do. And it's amazing. And it doesn't just get you in a bunch of credit repair clients. It gets you in people that want it done quickly, want great communication, want to know that if they send you a 720, you can get it done. And that if they send you a 590, that you'll have a path to get it. Like, who can't? So those should be the ones. Like, congratulations, you closed a lot of 720s. That's amazing. But like, I don't think that if LeBron James had a clear path to the basket every single time with a slam alley-oop, slam dunk, I'm a wrestler, I don't know what I'm talking about, but nobody would consider him that great if he never had to like do something challenging, right? So I just think that the loan officer that has the processes in place to help as many of their community members as possible, those are the ones that really stand out. Jenny, Ashley, I talk so much. What else do you guys, think about, the user experience, the client psychology, things that we know our clients are feeling, that maybe we should pass on so that, everybody can be on the same page?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing kind of backing up to, when we're reaching out, that first contact to the client, the big difference that we see on our end is the client's either blindsided if they don't know we're calling, or they're excited and engaged. And most of the time, calling us. Like before we even get a chance to, they're calling in and we're getting connected with them. So that really makes a huge difference. And it kind of sets the stage for us to catch that pass, you know what I'm saying, and run and get a touchdown. The more excited, the more engaged a client is, the more successful they're going to be. Now, that doesn't mean that the clients that aren't engaged, that we still can't get it done, but it's a lot harder.
It really is. It really is. And here's another little tool that I like to use for a client who is, or even a loan officer who's hesitant about credit repair. It just seems like too steep of a hill to climb, right? Or I wouldn't want to go through all that. What I try to do is explain our service like this. I say, well, let me ask you this, okay? So right now you're trying to get an FHA home loan. You got to have a 640 to do it. And typical close times are, 30, 45 days, right? I'll stay in my lane as much as I can here, but yeah, that's about right, Sam. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. If there was a program for 580 borrowers like yourself, or like the clients you're running into, but the close time was 3 months, it cost the client $600, $700 additional in closing costs, but then they would get the deal done and you guys would close. Is that a loan product that you'd be interested in if I could provide that to you? And they're, oh, hell yeah, that's what I want, is just slap a Band-Aid on it. Let's get this deal done, $700. And it's like, well, what I just described to you is how long credit repair takes, how much it costs. The only thing I didn't tell you is that at the end of it, you won't have a 580. You'll have the 640 plus that you need, and you won't have to worry about a bunch of this crap in the future, right? It's just crazy how that psychology can be different, where if somebody can just pay for it and it be done, they would still agree to the same time frame, the same cost. But it's just when you got to get uncomfortable and deal with some things from the past that maybe, just don't make you feel the best. So we together have to get them there, and we need to, if the loan officer can help us with it, if the realtor can help us with it by saying like, look, yeah, this is a game, this is a frustrating game, but it's not one that you don't have power over, and it's not one that you can't learn the rules to and win. It's just that you haven't in the past. So here's how we're going to fix that. We're going to get you the rules of the game, and then you're going to start playing by the rules of the game in order to benefit yourself and your family. So anyway, Curtis behind the scenes has put up a little form in the comment section where you can get all of our handoff scripts to use. Hey, Sean, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I love the attempted sports analogies. Yeah, we got a little hodgepodge in there with some basketball, some football. So sorry, we'll try to keep it to one sport from now on. But no, it's just, you guys, whatever we can do, so much of this comes down to the client's mindset. There is not a client that you could send me and give me 6 months with, and that would be able to get funds available that I couldn't turn into, credit score wise, a bankable deal. I truly believe that if the client would just do what I tell them to do, they have the power to get there. It's just getting the client to realize that they have got to be involved, that they are not a victim. In most cases, if they are a victim, that's no problem. We go in and we get that stuff straightened out. But they're not a victim in most cases. I didn't have access to pay their copay on their medical. Neither did you. Neither did anybody. I understand that they don't think that they got sufficient warning, but they're the only ones that got any warning, right? And so when we put it back on them in a good way, in an empowering way, and say, you can deal with this because you could have dealt with it. Here's how we're going to deal with it going forward. They get huffy, and then they get happy, and then they qualify for a home loan. So anyway, if we can all work together, get our clients on the same page, understand that psychology, understand that you have the ability to step in and be the hero, but that you also have the mixed bag of excluding yourself from all future financing if you don't have an answer, or at least a courteous response to them. Hey, I see you. Hey, here's what we can do. Even if it's that you can't do business with them, I strongly encourage you to tell clients right up front, hit them between the eyes. I can't get money for you because your credit's too bad. It's just the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you about it, but I have solutions for you. But I don't think you're a piece of crap. I've been there. I know people that have been there. I've worked with clients in the past that have been there. And just like you, I've sent them to the same place I'm going to send you. And when they listen, they get back here. And they empower people, give them education, give them options, but don't fall into their pity party. That's not somewhere that you want to be or we want to be. So anyway, we're going to keep trying to bring you more little breakout sessions like this where we just talk about how to improve user experience. One thing that I encourage you to do, if you will, is if there's something that comes up that's good here, most likely it's going to be well implemented in other places too. Every single thing, tactic, technology, whatever that my credit guy uses, we've found from other industries. So hopefully this helps one way or another. We're always open to suggestions, anything that you want to hear about, improve on. We can also bring outside guests in, my buddies, people, friends of the company too. So if there's anybody in particular that you want to see, anything in particular you want us to cover, let us know. But thanks for watching. And Jenny and Ashley, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.